Let's go across to the guests who are joining us. I'm joined by Saravanan, who's part of the DMK. Kishore Subramaniam is a financial expert. And Reena Gupta is from the Aam Aadmi Party. Saravanan, why don't I begin with you? The court was yesterday not too happy with a statement that was made by the DMK government minister as well. You believe the court shouldn't get into it, but the court is wanting to act as a mediator. The court is saying call an all-party meet, for example. Form a panel with everybody together. You will get a representation as a state government too. Do you object to that, or are you willing to be part of that panel?
See, I don't know. This freebie debate has already long been settled by the Supreme Court. 2013 judgment of the Supreme Court has been very, very categorical, and it states that announcing a scheme or promising the voters is not violative of any of the prevailing law in the country. When that is the situation, the Prime Minister goes on record and says, suddenly becomes enlightened. He wants to build the economy, and he gets good gyan and says, no, there should not be any freebies. He is totally forgetting that every party, every state ruled by the BJP, carried away by the impact of it is on the economy and on the people. Taking the example of the state of Tamil Nadu, is announcing these schemes that are now announced by Uttar Pradesh, Goa, Manipur, Haryana. All these have been announced, implemented in the state of Tamil Nadu
but
from the 1960s.
Saravanan, here's the thing. A government can announce a scheme, of course, when it comes to power. That's the job of the government. And it will budget for it. It will announce. Sometimes it announces it before it budgets, but it will eventually have to budget for it. The question here is not that. The question is what is said and promised before coming to power.
Yeah. See, that is what I'm saying. DMK is a party. I can speak for the DMK and what's happening in the state of Tamil Nadu. We have always delivered what we have promised. We said we will give a 1 kg rice for 1 rupee in 2006. We implemented that. We said we'll give free color televisions in 2006. We did that. We said we'll give free gas stoves. We gave that.
The question is also not whether you're delivering or not. The question is what is the impact on the state exchequer because of all of these deliveries. How is color TV set, especially this tradition in South India and especially in Tamil Nadu, this dole culture which has been debated for long. How is a color TV a part of your welfare scheme?
Absolutely. That's a very, very good question. And thanks for the opportunity to explain how it is transformed the lives of the women folk. In 2006, probably now color television is not a much touted thing, but back in 2006, it was an object of caste pride, especially in villages. Only the people who belonging to the upper caste would have a color television, who is well off will have a color television. Everybody else will have to go to that guy's house and pay some money, and it was an object which was used to ridicule the others. We wanted to do away with that. Not only that, all the illiterate people who was not able to read and write, they came to know of what is happening around the world through the infotainment that is beamed.
Why not educate the illiterate instead of giving them TV sets?
How can we educate a 60-year-old man or a 75-year-old woman?
Why not?
No, that is not possible.
There are night schools arranged for adults all the time. You can come up with a better policy.
Yes. Easiest way to make them aware of what is happening around the world is through giving them this information through televisions. It has an Oxford study has found that this has transformed the lives of the people who have received it, and it is also found out that the crime rate has come down. It has made women's livelihood little more easier.
How has it made women's livelihood easier? Can you explain that one?
Yes. Because the men folk who are all watching television, the domestic violence against women has come down. That apart, women were able to find out what are all the opportunities that are available. So many welfare announcements, so many...
so you are saying that the state government is able to reach the last man or woman in the row and the mile through TV. Otherwise, you don't have capacity enough to touch their lives.
Yes,
seriously?
You're right.
You're seriously accepting that? That you can touch the lives and better the lives of your people in the state only through a color television. Otherwise, you can't better their lives?
In 2006, we are in 2022. So 2006 is entirely different from 2022.
So, abhi kya denge aap? What will you give in 2022?
2022,
Tablet.
see 2020, no, 2022, we are having different schemes. We have announced free bus rides for women.
Why?
And this, do you think this is not going to impact the lives of the women?
It also impacts the financial structure of the
Yes,
state. If you can
wherewithal.
justify it
Yes.
financially,
Yeah, I'll
great
justify
enough.
that.
But,
I'll justify that.
No, one second. The larger debate here, Saravanan, is
Yes.
that welfare is targeted. Welfare is targeted to the person who really, really needs it and needs the state support. It is not supposed to be everyone. That's the central issue between welfare and Freebie. One second, you've had your turn. Others are also joining us. Shazia Ilmi of the BJP, and I'm joined by Vijay Sardana, who's an advocate in the Supreme Court. He's also wanting he has also filed a plea in regards to this entire matter ongoing in the court. Vijay Sardana, the court is suggesting that a panel might be the best way forward. Do you really think that we can bring everybody together to come to some sort of a consensus on what is welfare, what is freebie, at least some consensus that certain types of freebies or doles being announced during election rallies can be curbed? What the government chooses to do after it comes to power, I don't think the courts or the election commission have the right to restrict. But before coming to power in election rallies, can it be restricted?
First of all, good evening to all of you. See, this is an extremely important debate. Now, biggest issue in the whole debate is how you want to define freebies. And everyone will say that, for me, this, like just now our friend was mentioning that in Tamil Nadu, TV is not freebie. So like this, it is impossible to do it. My suggestion to Honorable Court and through you to the country and to all political parties, there has to be a mandatory financial statement as part of the election manifesto. It means whatever you are promising, you must mention that what you are promising, out of your total population, how many will be beneficiary, what is the amount you want to allocate, and what is the source of funding. Let the electorate should know, they should make an informed choice whether so much money for TV or for VCR or for scooty or mobile or whatever, are they willing to fund? Because ultimately funding will come from either taxpayers or market borrowing. Let me give you an example of Tamil Nadu. Just now our friend was talking about Tamil Nadu.
Yes.
Look at the RBI statement finances of the budgets of all the states. 2021-22. Andhra Pradesh, out of 31 states in the country, has the highest borrowing of 87,300 and the highest gross fiscal deficit of 1,624 crores. Now, point here comes up is, ultimately, who has to bear this cost? Tomorrow, suppose a new government will come, this liability will be transferred to them. And the market borrowing, which is of 87,000 crore, state public has to pay back because they have to collect the taxes and pay back to the banks. Because this is a market borrowing, it is a loan. So now issue comes up is whether population of Tamil Nadu is willing to pay additional 1 lakh crore to take care of these overheads which are created because of election promises by the political party who is in power. So issue is that my request to Honorable Supreme Court and to the country and to all the political parties of India, there must be a mandatory financial statement in every election manifesto that what is the cost of the promises they are making. Let them make some guesstimates.
Okay.
All rates are available in the market. And what is the source of funding? Whether it is going to be from increasing taxes, increasing borrowing, or they will pass on to the next government or to the next year, and it is a perpetual liability on the people of the state.
Which is why it is also being said that freebies today are actually a liability for your next generation. Somebody has to pay for something. There are no free lunches and frankly no free color TV sets, Mr. Saravanan. I'll give you 30 seconds, Saravanan, before I have to, because I have to go across to our other guests as well.
This debate is already settled. This is not something new. In 2013 itself, I am telling you, the Supreme Court has visited all these things and said what we have to do. My friend is speaking as though this is the most pressing issue which is concerned of the country now. It is not so.
You answer, who will pay 1 lakh crore? Just
sir,
answer
I will
this.
come, sir. I will come
to it. Who will pay 1 lakh crore? Just answer
I will
this.
answer that. I will answer that. Tamil Nadu is paying 1 rupee to the union government, and it is getting back only 35 paise. Will the union government fund it? Will the union government give us it?
Are you saying,
just
my
a
friend?
moment, just a moment. Allow me to speak, sir. Allow me to speak.
Yeah, please.
Allow
carry
me
on,
to speak.
carry on.
Yeah. So we know how to fund all these things, and this is not as though these borrowings can go unlimited. We have certain principles. We have Article 283. We have the Consolidated Fund of India. So there are certain guidelines, certain principles. If we are going to borrow more than 3%, the union government will not allow us to borrow. So it is not going to, it's not as though we are just taking away money and giving it just for the sake of winning elections. That is not how that is happening in the state of Tamil Nadu.